Good afternoon. Welcome back to Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a wholly owned subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Educate, enlighten, entertain, mindfulness. And on today's episode, we can continue reading and explaining what the U.S. Constitution is all about. We're starting with the 20th Amendment, Section 1. The terms of the President and the Vice President shall end at noon on the 20th day of January, and the terms of senators and representatives at noon on the 3rd day of January of the years in which terms would have ended if this article had not been ratified, and the terms of their successors shall then begin. Section 2. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting shall begin at noon on the 3rd day of January, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. Section 3. If at the time fixed for the beginning of the term of the president-elect shall have died, the vice president-elect shall become president. If a president shall not have been chosen before the time fixed for the beginning of his term, or if the president-elect shall have failed to qualify, then the vice president-elect shall act as president until a president shall have qualified, and the Congress may by law provide for the case wherein neither a president-elect nor a vice president-elect shall have qualified, declaring who should then act as president, or the manner in which one who is to act shall be selected, and such person should act accordingly until a president or a vice president shall have qualified. Section 4. The Congress by law provide for the case of the death of any of the persons from whom the House of Representatives may choose a president, whenever the right of choice shall have devolved upon them, it happens to them, and for the case of the death of any of the persons from whom the Senate may choose a vice president, whenever the right of choice shall have devolved, put upon them. Section 5. Sections 1 and 2 shall take effect on the 15th day of October following the ratification of this article. Section 6. This article shall be inoperative, meaning it's not going to work, unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of its submission. The 21st Amendment, the 18th article of the amendment to the Constitution of the United States, is hereby repealed, taken back. Section 2. The transportation or importation into any state, territory, or possession of the United States for delivery or use therein of intoxicating liquors in violation of the laws thereby is hereby prohibited. Section 3. This article shall be inoperative unless it should have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by conventions in the several states as provided in the Constitution within 7 years from the date of the submission hereof to the states by the Congress. 22nd Amendment, Section 1. No person shall be elected to the office of president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of president when this article was proposed by the Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may hold the office as president or acting as president during the time within which this article becomes operative from holding the office of president or acting as president during the remainder of such term. And please be aware that outside of FDR, who did try for a third term, he did not finish. And there's no reason after one person who's been in office for 8 years should seek any further election. One, it's their age. Second, you need new ideas to come in. To hold on to a presidency longer than 8 years is the beginning of an authoritative government. And that is not what America is defined by. That is not what the Statue of Liberty is all about. And certainly that is not what the eagle, our nation's anthem, represents. Section 2. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of its submission to the states by the Congress. 23rd Amendment, Section 1. The district constituting the seat of the government of the United States shall appoint in such manner as Congress may direct a number of electors of president and vice president equal to the whole number of senators and representatives in Congress to which the district would be entitled if it were a state, but no event more than the least populous state. There shall be, in addition to those appointed by the states, but they shall be considered for the purposes of the election of president and vice president to be electors appointed by a state, and they shall meet in the district and perform such duties as provided by the 12th article of amendment. Section 2. The Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. The 24th Amendment. The right of citizens of the United States to vote in any primary or other election for president or vice president, for electors, for president or vice president, or for senator or representatives in Congress shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state by reason of failure to pay poll tax or the tax. In other words, you have the right to vote, men and women, children over the age of 18. Therefore, whatever is being proposed in Washington is illegal and forfeit. Section 2. The Congress should have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. The 25th Amendment, Section 1. In case of the removal of the president from office or of his death or resignation, the vice president shall become president. Section 2. Whenever there is a vacancy in the office of the vice president, the president shall nominate a vice president who shall take office upon confirmation by a majority vote of both houses of Congress. Section 3. Whenever the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that he's unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmits to them a written declaration to the contrary, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the vice president as acting president. Section 4. Whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office as acting president. Thereafter, when the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the powers and duties of his office unless the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive department or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit within 4 days to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. Thereupon, Congress shall decide the issue, assembling within 48 hours for that purpose if not in session. If the Congress within 21 days after receipt of the latter written declaration, or if Congress is not in session within 21 days after Congress is required to assemble, determines by 2/3 vote of both houses that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall continue to discharge the same as acting president. Otherwise, the president shall resume the powers and duties of his office. 26th Amendment. The right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age. Section 2, the Congress should have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. 27th Amendment. No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators or representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives have intervened. And that is the Constitution of the United States. For those who are interested, you can pick up the full declaration at https://constitution, constitution, center, one word, center.org. And you can read it. And there are places within the National Archives that you can also download it and keep a copy of it to remind yourself. Right up there with the other important facts that you need to remember that you're a part of a great country and that you should be aware at all times of what your Constitution permits you, dispermits you, and how important this document is. Today is Constitution Day. It's a great day to listen to all these programs dedicated to the U.S. Constitution. Next episode, we will go over the Declaration of Independence, so you'll know which two important documents define our country, the United States of America. Thank you very much for listening to this continuation and final of the U.S. Constitution. This program is supported by Conscious Research Solutions. You can check us out over at passionateworldtalkradio.com/research made simple blog. Read all the reasons why doing research is painful. Learn how to get over that pain points. And if you decide that you need help or you want to have somebody do the research for you, please sign up for a 10 to 15 minute free consultation. And we'd be more than happy to discuss what you need to know or how you need to learn it. Also, this program is sponsored by Flipping Out, How to Train Your Human, a satiric, tongue-in-cheek book composed of 10 chapters so far of how to learn artificial intelligence. Check us out at passionateworldtalkradio.com/epic envision XR, where you can either buy the whole total book of 10 chapters or buy individual chapters. Down below, you can also learn how to write satire and fiction and nonfiction and poetry and anything that you want to poke fun at and draw attention to all at the same time. And if you want to continue to hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, then please consider donation to an all-woman-led and operable internet talk radio station. It's been up for 20 years. We look forward to be up for another 20 years. Check us out at passionateworldtalkradio.com/donation. Thank you very much for listening and have an awesome weekend.